Hi, my name is Rasha and thank you for joining us today for this session where we are going to find out how we can develop our digital skills and gain DegreePlus. So I'm just going to dial in Emer Gallagher, who is the Business Operations Manager and DegreePlus Programme Lead. Before that's working there. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Very good, how are you?
Good, thanks. You're doing an amazing job.
Thanks very much. Just getting some. Hopefully that's working good now. Okay. So, hi Emer. So what I want to know is, why is digital skills development important for non-computing specialists, and how I can gain DegreePlus accreditation for doing this outside of my degree course?
Okay, so I suppose if any of us ever doubted the importance of digital skills and ongoing digital skills development for all of us, whether you're a student, an employee working for a graduate or placement employer, or a child going to school, or even an elderly person in a nursing home, we all have developed skills, digital skills, at a pace and to a degree that we probably never imagined we could do. So it's been one of the positives, I suppose, when looking at what were the positives from the pandemic. Actually, digital skills, opportunities to develop digital skills and platforms and things like that advanced so rapidly. And we did, despite our doubts, all manage to keep up with it. So it's become vitally important, and I think it's so important, and we have very savvy students at Queen's, so I think I don't even need to explain to current Queen's students how important it is, because we are all now so dependent on this and so involved in it in our day-to-day life and studies and work, etc. So it makes sense that obviously the employers who are recruiting our students will have expectations for all our students. They're not just having expectations for computing and IT specialists who might have particular specialist roles and expertise that they would be wanting to recruit and draw those forward. It's part of our lives, and it's very much, of course, therefore part of our working lives as well for all of us. So, and it's not necessarily all dull either. There's lots of great things like being able to do Instagram live broadcast to connect with students and things like that. We've all got so many benefits from it. So, but keeping up with it, taking an interest in it, being enthusiastic about learning something new is something that actually it's going to be important to employment prospects, how well you're able to give of yourself and perform in a job role, and also as well with your studies. I mean, I'm sure people knows very much in their studies, the benefits of digital skills and being able to access digital resources and all those sorts of things. So one of the key things I would say about digital skills development is it is like any skill set, as in every one of us will be at a different level and a different level of confidence. And the Centre for Educational Development have done a lot of work on this, and I've been speaking to them before this event, and they've put a lot of support materials together for students, and we're sharing those through this DegreePlus activity. And I would say as well, particularly say, even to students in arts, humanities, or areas that are don't necessarily have computing disciplines and specialism in them, don't worry if you feel that, I'm not at a very high level, I'm a bit concerned about this. There's such a range of supports here, and developed through the Centre for Educational Development and our approved online course provider partners, that you can step on at whatever level is comfortable for you. Only put yourself up to the next level that you feel comfortable to do. Pick out something that you feel you're going to enjoy, is maybe going to be useful to a particular project or assignment, or even something outside work or some of your hobbies or interests, and learn through those and take it at your own pace. Try to enjoy it. It doesn't have to be a stressful thing, but putting those extra bits and taking the opportunities that are here now while you're a Queen's student will have a benefit for you not only in terms of your studies and things that you're wanting to do and staying connected, but also it can become then an enhancement in your CV. And I think that's what employers are really looking for as well. It's the willingness to, what's your journey? What have you done to improve your skill set? Because it's like any skill set. We all are involved in a lifelong learning. It doesn't stop when we leave Queen's, and at Queen's, and when you're working with an employer as well, or going on to a postgraduate research course, whatever. There are lots of opportunities and supports to do this, and lots of fantastic benefits.
Absolutely, yeah, that's great advice for students. So where would I start? How can I assess my digital skills and development needs?
Okay, so yes, so again, my colleagues in the Centre for Educational Development have been really on the ball about this, and they are offering a free online service at Queen's, and that allows students to explore digital skills at whatever level they are comfortable with. So they have a specialist little tool, but you do a little digital self-audit, and it only takes about 20 or 15 to 20 minutes to do. And that allows you to answer a series of questions and give you a little sort of disc profile to show you areas where maybe you're relatively strong compared with others, and which ones maybe are lower. And you can pick and choose along which line you want to pick and choose next for yourself. So that little tool is called the JISC Digital Discovery Tool, and they have that in their Student Digital Hub, and I will talk about that as well. You're probably going to ask me a little bit later on about this particular activity, and I'll be able to tell you where you can pick that up in terms of, you can Google search through the Queen's website for this, but also we have specifically put the key points for these resources into My Future. So really that self-assessment, that digital JISC discovery tool, it asks you a number of reflective questions. You'll receive a downloadable report or a personal visualization chart so that you can map for your future development. So let's take an example even of, say, a history student, and you're needing to improve your core ICT proficiency skills. Maybe to create a poster or something that's associated with an assignment or a group project or a conference submission. Doing this and looking along towards that audit and the report will give you some tips and suggestions for the next step. So you can use this tool as often as you like. You can do it just as a one-off if you wish to see where am I now, but also there's a nice confidence builder thing, often with a lot of self-audit tools that you'll get around any skill of, you do it now, and then maybe in a year's time, do it again and keep the original and say, gosh, look how far I've come, because that's motivating for you as well to say, this time last year, I'd have been really happy to be there, and that builds you up the confidence, see how far you've come. And a bit, as I was saying, like in the pandemic, the last couple of years, we've all surprised ourselves. And so, it's always encouraging, and that can go back and you can update that as you go along.
Yes, absolutely. That sounds like a very useful tool. So once I have completed that assessment, what sorts of courses are available to me?
Okay, so the tool itself, then, it's in an area called the Students Digital Skills Discovery Hub, which is created by CED, and it's on the CED website. But if you just Google search, if a student is interested, just Google searches for Student Digital Skills Discovery Hub, or they go into My Future, and they'll see in the My Future there are step-by-steps for DegreePlus, and there is one specifically for this activity. And in there are the links to the JISC self-audit tool that I mentioned, and also to this CED Student Digital Skills Discovery Hub, where that self-audit tool is, plus a lot of other resources that CED have put together for students of different levels of confidence. And so you can go through there and explore the wide range of resources, including some specific courses in this area, and it's already been used by students who have gone through that and given feedback in terms of that they've been finding this very useful, and you'll probably hear a little bit more of that shortly. And there's also in there, in the hub, there's a set of resources called Dive into Digital, and some brief how-to videos on how to use digital tools that are going to be really helpful to you in your academic studies, as well as to take on future postgrad courses or employment on OneNote, Maro, MS Office 365, making the most of all those tools. plus some suggested online courses. There's two there, they mentioning in terms of Future Learn and Coursera, and actually in the My Future, in the DegreePlus step by step for this tool, there's a number of additional courses laid out there. Coursera, Future Learn for sure, also Open Learn, even courses offered from Stanford and Harvard where a student can do an additional course that's a short course, free course produced by those universities, and add those into their CV as well. So I would definitely recommend going in and looking at this activity in your My Future accountancy and the list of providers there, the sources that are in supports that have been offered by CED specifically for Queen's students, and then the additional array of opportunities that you could do to pick up. Maybe it's a creative arts or a drama student even who's interested in digital skills development in around film and editing and those. There's courses, digital courses on all of these things are offered through these providers. So I suppose just recapping, in terms of the activity itself, we ask students for this digital skills thing, it's usually about 25 hours plus of engagement in a digital course in one of these courses. We allow some study time and also including the 15 to 20 minutes to complete the JISC digital skills self-audit that I mentioned. So altogether, probably take you a minimum of about 30 hours to go through this. You might want to do one course that is of that length, or you might want to say, right, I want to do some of the things in the Queen's Digital Hub, plus I want to do one out of Future Learn, and collectively they're going to come. That's all fine. We just want to see overall an investment of time in the extracurricular development of these through that. But the DegreePlus, the My Future step by step on this takes you right through one step at a time, all of the details about how you get this, including the deadlines for application submission.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for your detailed responses. That sounds like something a lot of students will get a lot of value from. So we're now going to dial in Matthew, who's been developing his skills, to find out about his experience. Hiya.
Hey.
Hi Matthew. So would you mind introducing yourself and telling us what you're studying and what stage you're at?
Yeah, of course. So, hi, I'm Matthew, and I am a Law with Politics student, currently in my second year of my undergraduate degree.
So Matthew, you're studying law. What made you decide you needed to develop your digital skills?
Well, I guess what first made me consider developing my digital skills was all the online classes and work within Queen's over the past 2 years because of the pandemic. And I think that really reinforced that a big part of work once you leave uni is online, and those skills are important. But also during my time at uni, I've learned that digital skills are an incredibly important thing to have for applying to the workplace post-university. So these are transferable and applicable to many different careers and jobs, and they kind of stick with you no matter what you kind of end up doing. They'll be useful. So that definitely drove me to look into it.
Absolutely. And what was the first step that you took to go about developing your digital skills?
So I first looked at what help was available in developing my digital skills from the university itself. And it was during researching and looking for help with developing these skills that I came across the Skills Development Hub that Queen's has. And from that, I was able to not just learn about what digital skills were, but how to develop and improve them, and even access some different classes and videos explaining that.
And to what extent did you find the Digital Skills Development Hub helpful?
I found it incredibly useful. I think one feature of it that I found, invaluable really, was the JISC Audit Your Digital Skills tool. I think it was mentioned earlier, and it allowed me to fill in answers to different questions, and upon completing it, highlighted and told me what digital skills I could or really should have further develop. And I don't think before doing that I'd realised there were areas that I was weaker in, so it was very useful for that.
What sort of courses have you completed?
So I've looked at and completed courses in using apps and tools like Microsoft Excel and Teams, and they have been aimed at improving my functional digital skills. But I've also looked at different digital literacy courses that have taught me how to develop and become more digitally literate. And on top of that, I guess I've looked at courses which have just improved my general digital skills. And these have been in tasks such as constructing and writing emails professionally, which of course will be useful in the work environment later.
So how has this helped you to develop your digital skills?
So I think maybe the most obvious example of this has been through using and learning how to, use more effectively Teams and Word and Excel. Those are all tools that we use very much in day-to-day life at university. And I think learning the different features in these and how to more efficiently use them has been great at reinforcing and helping me develop those skills.
And what would you say is the most interesting thing that you've learned?
I think looking back, again, talking about the JISC Digital Skills Audit tool, it was very interesting to see what areas perhaps I was most weak in, and I think that's something valuable that any student could do, because I don't think maybe we're always aware of just quite where we're less strong, so I think that was incredibly interesting.
Did you learn anything that was unexpected?
I think I was definitely surprised by the scope and amount of different types of digital skills that there are involved. It wasn't just, looking at words or PowerPoint, even though that is part of it, but there was also, stuff about researching or, how to email professionally and follow that etiquette. So really, I think I was surprised by just how much digital skills there were throughout different areas.
And do you feel that this experience has made you more employable?
Oh, absolutely. I think these skills will be incredibly important in whatever area of work I end up in, as they're, transferable to many different types of jobs. And I think that polishing these skills up has definitely made me more employable.
Have these skills also helped you in your day-to-day life?
Oh, yeah, definitely. By being more proficient when using different applications such as Teams or Excel, I have definitely been able to, I think, work more effectively and save myself time. But I think learning how to use those has also just made studying and even, contacting and emailing people so much easier. Yeah.
And do you think that you will continue your journey with digital skills development?
Oh, for sure. Whilst I may have started my journey into developing my digital skills, it is definitely far from finished, and there are many skills I think I still want to develop and improve. So definitely I'm going to be continuing that journey.
And would you recommend to other Queen's students to use the Digital Discovery Hub?
Yes, I would definitely recommend the Digital Skills Discovery Hub to students who aren't just unsure about their digital skills. Of course, it's valuable for them and definitely something worth checking out. But I think even for people or students that are up to date with their digital skills, it's absolutely worth checking out, as I'm sure you will discover something that maybe you were slightly weaker in, and you'll definitely learn something from it.
And for you, what do you think the next area of digital skills development might be? For you?
That's a tough one. I could definitely still do with furthering my digital skills in regard to researching online, I think, for different essays. And of course, there are many different apps and tools I haven't yet heard of or used, and I'm sure developing those will be important to my digital skills toolset in the future.
Absolutely. I feel like we can all use some help with that. And so finally, Emer, how do I find out information about this activity and how do I apply?
So all of that information you'll find if you go into your My Future account and go to the, you'll see a step-by-step there called Digital Skills Development for Non-Computing Students. So when you go into your My Future account, you'll see step-by-steps in DegreePlus. Go in there, you'll see Digital Skills Development by Non-Commuting Students, and it includes the links to the JISC Digital Discovery tool and the resources that Matthew has mentioned there as well. And also, if you can't remember where that is, just go into your Queen's email, and because last week there was a DegreePlus e-newsletter that went to everybody and we profiled this particular activity. So it's there, and a special word of thanks to our colleagues in the Centre for Educational Development who are always on the ball, producing these things, regularly keeping them up to date for students. It's a fantastic resource for them.
That's great. Thank you so much. I'm sure a lot of students will find this very valuable information. So I'm just going to check if there are any questions. No, I don't think so. So thank you both very much for joining today. That was really, really informative. Right. Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.